a brand new episode of All Things Honor. That's right, we're back. We had a little mental crisis last week, but here we are, back in action, and we're reviewing Ring of Honor episode 18. And this episode's really special because for the first time in 2 months, our champion has returned to the show. That is right. Our champion, Claudio Castagnoli, has returned. He main evented. This is a very big deal. It is why this episode is titled The Champion is Back. So here we go. So the first thing we start off with is a Tony Khan Stokely Hathaway promo. And if you are new to this, you may not know that this is really the most WWE thing I've ever seen. I don't understand why we're doing the whole board of directors. It's the only AEW programming that has a board of directors. I don't understand why we needed a Ring of Honor. I think it was going just fine without it, but nonetheless, here we are. Tony Khan says that we are in for a very exciting night of action with some of the New Japan stars coming around because this was the Ring of Honor show post Forbidden Door. So this was actually recorded the night before Forbidden Door at the Collision that Saturday. He tells Stokely Hathaway that, Tony Khan, Jerry Lynn, they'll be at Gorilla. So Stokely Hathaway is in charge of everything backstage. This comes into account later on in the episode with the Kingdom, but like I said, this is very WWE based. I don't get why we need it. I think it was fine without it. Nonetheless, we have our first of multiple tag team matches. And we have Dralistico and Preston Vance versus Mark Wheeler and Vikram Prashar. This was a total squash. LFI has been getting a lot of momentum, whether it be Dralistico and Preston Vance, whether it be Roosh, whoever it may be. I'm sure Andrade is going to come back into the fold here a little bit. But a lot of tag teams are kind of making their claim to wrestle the Lucha Bros in a couple weeks at Death Sports Honor. So I don't know which tag team it is going to be, but if it's LFI, makes sense. If it's not, I'm sure it'll be somebody else. Match was good though, but like I said, total squash. Not a lot to say about it. Next, we have what seems to be the only storyline we have going on in Ring of Honor at the moment. It is the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds versus the Righteous, Dutch and Vincent. And the one thing I will say that made me so upset is Stu Grayson was on the pre-show for Forbidden Door, and so many people were so confused as to why Stu Grayson wasn't in the Dark Order. And that makes me really sad because, like I said, this is the only prominent storyline going on in Ring of Honor, and nobody knew that he turned his back on the Dark Order to go with the Righteous. Made me pretty upset here. So I love that Evil Uno got thrown out in the beginning of this match, but it was all because Vincent was playing mind games. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. What I think is going to lead to a huge six-man tag team match is going to be Silver Reynolds and Evil Uno versus Dutch, Vincent, and Grayson. Dark Order is going to get the win, probably, but Grayson's going to stick with the Righteous. Now, the Righteous win here, and after the match was over, Vincent continues to beat down Reynolds. Evil Uno runs out with the chair, and Vincent pushes Grayson in front of him. Now, Grayson and Uno are having to stare off, and Grayson screaming at Uno, hit me with this chair, hit me with this chair, hit me with this chair. And Uno can do it because if you didn't know, these two have teamed on the indies together for 20 plus years before they even hit AEW. So I'm thinking this is obviously going to lead to a very emotional point at this six-man tag that's probably going to happen at Death Sports Honor, where Uno's finally going to get the job done. I would not be surprised if Uno's going to be the one to take the, Uno's going to pin Grayson. I think it's a full circle moment, but this, so good. I love this storyline. Keep doing this stuff. Next, we have Layla Gray versus Diamante. This is continuing what happened. Well, now, when you guys see this, it will be a week and a half ago, where Layla Gray picked up the win by cheating. So Diamante gets the win here. This was actually a really good match. And it was better than the one that they had a week and a half ago. I love that they're using Layla Gray on Ring of Honor, especially because Jade is taking that break. So now, they're finding a way to use her again. These are both just two women just trying to make a name for themselves. I'm assuming now that we're tied at one apiece, it's going to lead to a rubber match, but good stuff. Love it. Next, Claudio Castagnoli, he gets a promo. Like I said, he has been missing. He has now returned. Castagnoli says he has not been here for a while and no one's mentioned him on TV. To which I laughed and I was like, because you haven't been here, bro. You haven't been here. There's sometimes I forget who the Ring of Honor champion is because you're not on the Ring of Honor programming. He says that no challenger wants to step up to him. Chuck Taylor then interrupts and says that he challenges Castagnoli tonight. Castagnoli accepts and challenges him to a proving grounds match, but he eliminates the time limit. So, didn't know, proving ground matches have a 10-minute time limit. So, if you last the 10 minutes or you beat the champion, you get your championship match I believe it's the following week. No one's ever won them. That's not the champion. So, he eliminates the 10-minute time limit because he wants Chuck Taylor to bring out his best. This was a really good segment. I mean, it was kind of random because it's like, out of all the people on the roster, you pick Chuck Taylor, which is fine, but I would have loved it to be someone from the Elite to kind of continue the storyline from AEW, just because I'm assuming we're gonna get the rematch between Kingston and Claudio at Death Before Dishonor. I really don't want it to happen. I'd rather it be somebody else, but Twitter's saying it's gonna be that match. I'll be there live, so if that does happen, it's okay. But this is fine for now. Next, we have my favorite, a multi-tag match here. We have Gringo Loco and the Workhorsemen and Shane Taylor versus the Lucha Bros, the Kingo, and Commander. So the first thing I didn't like is everything that happened up until this point happened at the Chicago taping, which was before Collision, right before Forbidden Door. This match happened in Chicago the week before that. So why are we jumping from Chicago to Canada? You could obviously tell the difference in the crowd. To me, because I've worked in TV production, it was just a really sloppy thing. I didn't like it. I was not a fan of it. And the second thing I'm really confused about is the Lucha Bros have not competed in a regular tag team match in the longest time. We've seen Phoenix main event by himself. We've seen the Lucha Bros team with Commander and Vikingo the past 2 weeks. I don't understand why we're not having them do tag team things because they're the champions, unless this is somehow going to lead to a huge blow off and Vikingo and Commander are going to versus the Lucha Bros. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I just don't understand why we're doing it. They are super talented, the four of them. They make a great quadruple, but I would rather have our tag team champions wrestle in double tag team matches, like 2v2. They won 2 weeks in a row. This match was fine, but like I said, I'd like our champions to be wrestling people within their championship division. That's all I want. I sadly can't have it. Next, we have a Samoa Joe promo. He talks about how he will defeat Roderick Strong this week on Collision, which he did. He wants to advance in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. He praises Tony Khan, and Stokely Hathaway interrupts, and he praises Joe for all the success. Joe is happy that he has someone like Stokely Hathaway running things around Ring of Honor, and Joe basically says that he's in charge of Stokely Hathaway. Why are we doing this? What happened to Zack Sabre Jr. versus Samoa Joe? Questions I'm still wondering, and I'll never get answers to. Next, we had Karu and Tariq versus Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. This match also happened to Chicago taping. Don't get why we're doing this. This was a squash match. Big Bill and Lee Moriarty danced to win. That's all I can say. Next, we had for the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team Championship. It was the Embassy versus Los Ingobernaldez. That is not how you say that. I totally said that wrong. But I expected them to get a lot more offense than they did. I understand you're trying to build the six-man champions, but you had these guys from Japan, and they were super over. And they basically got their ass kicked by the Embassy. So I was kind of shocked by that. The Embassy, Cage, I think, is 28 or 29-0 right now. I believe they said that Khan and Leona are 15 or 16-0, which is crazy. So I don't see the Embassy losing anytime soon. And then this promo happened, and I was like, ooh, interesting. If they're gonna use them, that's for its honor. Because the United Empire then called out the Mongol Embassy to a match, and they are saying that the United Empire is better and more and has accomplished more than the Mongol Embassy ever had. So I find that really interesting because I figured we were building Fletcher to some individualized stuff. But I mean, if Cobb and Perkins is gonna stay around, interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that match at Death Force Honor. I don't see the United Empire winning, but interesting. Next, we have El Desperado versus Willie Mack, and El Desperado won, and I was so shocked. I was like, whoa, crazy. This match was awesome. I mean, they had a This Is Awesome champ before, like, the match even started. Like, it was one of those moments, so, like, at Grand Slam 1, where Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, like, the bell rings, and the whole crowd just erupts. They're staring at each other. That's what this was. And I was like, damn. This match could have gone to anyone. Like I said, I was shocked Desperado won because I feel like they're trying to build Willie Mack to something. And this match got a lot of time. The crowd was really invested in it. So I know Desperado is going to face off against Moxley. I think it's this weekend in the last death match. So maybe if he wins that, he's gonna come back. Don't know, but it's very interesting that he won. Wouldn't mind seeing him in Ring of Honor either. More. Very shocked by that. Next, we had Sho and Takahashi versus Romero and Beretta, aka Roppongi Vice. Apparently, this has been a feud going on in New Japan. I don't watch New Japan, so I didn't know that. And like I said, this episode was very New Japan heavy because a lot of the New Japan guys were around because Forbidden Door was the next day. So fun. This match was fine. I mean, Roppongi Vice won. A lot of the AEW guys mostly won against these matches. And after the match, Sho beat down Beretta and Romero, and then Orange Cassidy makes the save because Orange Cassidy just makes random saves on Ring of Honor TV, which is also kind of confusing because it's like, why is this happening? But Roppongi Vice gets the win. Cool. Good, nice win for them. Next, we have the United Empire versus Action Andretti, Christopher Daniels, and Darius Martin. Looks like Daniels subbed in for AR Fox here. Don't really know what happened. Don't know if maybe he was part of the crew that got the 24-hour flu bug, because that's what happened with Cole and Britt. Don't know if maybe he just didn't have a Canadian visa. Don't know what the issue was, but Daniels Daniels was, he did pretty good. The ending of this match was really rough because at the end you could see that TJ Perkins kicked out, literally had the shoulder up, and the ref still counted for the 3 count. And even like Daniels and Andretti looked really confused as to like, oh, this is the end of the match. But before that happened, this match was really fun. I do like the whole dynamic between Andrade, Martin, and AR Fox. Obviously, we had Daniels here, but it still worked. I'm assuming if we're not gonna get United Empire, maybe we do get Andretti, Martin, and Fox again at Death Before Dishonor. I can't see any other trio team challenging the Embassy. I just think that makes sense. That doesn't happen. I don't know where we're going from here. Unless, maybe it is the United Empire. Then we have the Kingdom promo. I'm so excited. I've seen some of the spoilers for this week's episode, and I don't know if it's like this person subbing in for Maria. But if Maria is actually wrestling, I'm gonna be so hyped. If y'all don't know, Maria is my wrestling mentor. Love her. She's great. So this does happen. I'm gonna be psyched. So Jerry Lynn meets with the Kingdom because last week they were dissing ECW. Now, Mike Bennett mentions the fact that Final Battle 2012, which I attended live, he retired Lynn and he has grown to be more successful since defeating Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn then decides to make a 6-person tag team match official for next week, where it will be the Infantry with Trish Adora versus the Kingdom with Maria Kanellis. Now, like I said, I did see what does happen, but that doesn't mean that down the line, possibly Maria could lace up the boots and wrestle. But this should be very interesting. Love this. Love this for me. This was a great segment, especially like Maria is just like, why did you mention that? Why now? Like blaming Mike because she blames Mike for her. So funny. Now we had 2 proving ground matches in a row. I do love my proving ground matches. So we had Athena versus Casey Spinelli. There's not much to say here. Athena moves to 28-0. I have no idea what the plan is for the pay-per-view. I See, the thing is, I would say Sky Blue, but I'm going to assume that's going to be the Owen Hart Foundation tournament final. And I'm assuming Sky Blue is going to win. So I don't know date-wise when the finals line up compared to the pay-per-view. So if the finals happen before the pay-per-view and Sky Blue wins, I could see Sky Blue challenging Athena at the pay-per-view. I could see Kiera Hogan maybe wanting some retribution. If it's not any, I have no idea where we're going. Maybe Trish Adora if that whole feud is over. Maybe Lady Frost. Lady Frost would be interesting actually. So I don't know. Whoever it will be, don't see Athena losing. Athena moves to 28-0. She'll be 29-0 after this Wednesday when she defeats Willow. That's about it. And now we're here for our main event. Welcome back, champ. Chuck Taylor had a really nice showing here, and he really did bring it to Castagnoli. Since we haven't seen Champion wrestle in a while, it was nice to see him in the main event. And he takes the win here, hence the episode standing tall. And the only problem I really have right now is that there's only one storyline going on. And the only storyline that is going on is between the Dark Order and the Righteous. We have nothing like, obviously, we have the infantry and the kingdom, but that's not a major storyline. And a lot of the matches that you have going on in Ring of Honor are just happening very randomly. It's just like, why is this match happening? Okay, it's happening because of this. And there's no build. Like I said, I also didn't like that they were switching between Chicago and Canada. And I know they've been defending a couple of the Ring of Honor titles on Rampage, and that also gets me kind of annoyed because there's some of those titles that we haven't defended in how many weeks on the Ring of Honor programming. Don't get it. But the wrestling's good, and that's all that matters. And that is it for me. And we will see you guys next time for another episode of All Things Honor.